Dr. Alise with the Alise Spiritual Healing and Wellness Center. I'm coming to you today because we got another question in from a male, yay, to really talk about regaining trust. Is that something that's possible? Well, I'm just going to jump right in to this question. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible, but it's rare. I want to go back to the Dr. Holland's emotional stages framework. On this framework here, there are 4 stages that people go through when they are experiencing some type of emotional trauma or relationship issue. So here, the first stage is, let me see where to go. Revenge. The next stage is regret. The next stage is release. And the next stage is renew. The reason why I am still referencing this emotional stages framework is because when you lose trust and respect, those are 2 things that are easy to lose, but hard to get back. So if you have been betrayed, whether it's, a breach of confidentiality or cheating or whatever it may be in your relationship, you have to be at a place to where you're able to go through these stages rather quickly. So if you're trying to stay in the relationship and truly have a desire to make things work, then you have to be at the release, meaning you have truly let it go, in the renew stage, so that you can rebuild and restore trust in the relationship. If you're not at that place to where, you're still, regretting that you even got with this person, or if you say, oh, you know what, I'm finna do the same thing that he or she did to me. Forget this. I am not finna get got again. If you're in these 2 stages here, the revenge and the regret stage, those are negative emotions. If you stay in that stage, then you're going to have a relationship that is not going to work. It's going to continue to be plagued with betrayal and other issues because, one or both of the parties are not willing to take the necessary steps to look at those emotional issues that's going on. So how can you regain trust in a relationship? Well, guys, here are the steps. You have to acknowledge that you did it. You have to admit it. And you have to take full responsibility. Now, anytime there is betrayal in a relationship, it's not going to be that, oh, honey, oh, baby, I'm sorry. It's going to be like, hell yeah, I did it. Now what? What you going to do now? What we going to do now? It's not going to be that mushy conversation or verbiage that you use with your partner. This is something where you're really going to have to allow them to express, what they did. And hopefully they may be emotionally ready to tell you why they did it. So allow whoever it may be, if it's you or if it's your partner, you got to be real. You got to keep it real with yourself as well as your partner. Hey, look, I messed up. I'm sorry I'm not perfect, but here's why I did it. If you guys can take your relationship to that level, to where you're able to still experience, these lower level emotions here, revenge and regret, but not stay stuck in those, but you're able to understand, why you did what you did and release those emotions. Now, when you say that you have forgiven someone, that doesn't necessarily mean that you forget. But every time something happens and the same old conversation keeps coming up about the old hurt, you ain't forgave that person. You're just fooling yourself. So that forgiveness is one of the most difficult life lessons that humanity has to master. Like, people deal with forgiveness for the most of their lives, not necessarily with other people, but sometimes they have a hard time forgiving themselves. So can you just imagine? Trust is something that, it doesn't take 1 or 2 days to build trust. It really takes a lifetime to build trust. But it's important to understand that, we are all humans. We will make mistakes, but we have to be prepared on how to handle those mistakes and how to communicate and move forward from those mistakes. So moving forward, if you're staying in a relationship, there's been some betrayal where, you done your little sneaky stuff too. So I don't want to leave that out. Every partner in a relationship, I'm sure there's something that can be found because we're not perfect. But if you're serious about rebuilding a relationship, these things have to occur. Okay? Each person has to be truly motivated to want to stay in the relationship. That means that, you have to see whatever they're sharing with you, it has to be some follow through. They have to do what they say they're going to do. They got to make sure that they're doing and making effort towards making the relationship better. And then here, this piece here, change and growth. That's like the most important phase here, because if you're seeing that the person is still hanging out in the same places where they got in trouble, or made that mistake, if there is no change in their talk, there's no change in their behaviors, then hey, you still gonna have a problem. So the change in growth will allow you to release and renew. The release piece is where you're able to reflect upon what happened, why it happened. This could even be a generational pattern that you're experiencing, but you really don't know because you're not reflecting. You're not really thinking about it that way. So, guys, it can be done, but it takes a lot of dedication to not only work on the relationship, but also to work on yourself. Okay? And the way we do that is we be honest with ourselves. You don't have to keep a boatload of emotional journals, but you do need to see why you're feeling a certain way, why you feel the need that you had to go and betray your partner. In my line of work here as a life coach, I find that, cheating is like an emotional issue that a person has within themselves. They could be with the perfect partner for them, but it's something that's inside of them that they have to still work through. And, I tell people, hurt people hurt people. It is what it is. Until you do your inner work, you can't love somebody else if you're not able to work on yourself. The more you work on yourself, the more you're in competition with yourself to be the best version of yourself, then that's how you find the love in which you desire. Until then, you're going to attract people who are going to bring those life lessons to you to try to continue to help you change and grow. So it's in your best interest to learn whatever life lesson your soul has to learn. And release and renew. Last thing I want to say, guys, if you're finding out that, you know, one or the other is not wanting to rebuild the trust and the respect in the relationship, then you know what you need to do deep down inside. You need to do what's best for the situation, okay? I hope that this message heals you, and I hope that this answered the question that came in. If you have any further questions, then please send them to AskDrAlise@gmail.com. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for trusting me with your